back to Maine this morning. Had a nice visit with friends, a surprise birthday party, and worked out fine because we've got other things we've got to do, and they got other things they got to do. What you're seeing right now is called First Beach. There's actually First Beach, then farther down is Second Beach, and farther down is Third Beach. You can tell it's early because there's not a whole ton of people here yet. But I wonder what the red flag means on that. It's pretty flat, so I don't know what the problem is.
Maybe that was left over from yesterday's storm.
Oh, maybe, yeah, when the storm came through. Or this one, we know it as First Beach, but they call it Easton's Beach. Stops we had to make on the way back to Maine was to pick up some coffees, and I got about I think I got like 30 pounds of green beans, different types, some of the staple coffees that we're going to have, and I think there was one extra, and the owner wasn't there. One of the ladies was there. We talked to her, and you know, it's one of those things. He's down in Bolivia right now, going to different farms because this is start of the harvest season. They're picking the coffees that'll come, and it's going to be a little tricky one because he brings, of all the coffees he sells, he'll bring one container of coffee, which is about 45,000 pounds of coffee, and that's a lot of different varieties. Once those coffees are sold out, they're sold out. So that gives a little, I don't know, gives me a little pause how we're gonna do that without saying, okay, we're gonna gamble and buy X amount of this and X amount of that and then store it. It's a little tricky. I have to figure that one out, I guess. Well, last week Sid got our new glasses, and
like literally on Saturday.
Right.
Today's Monday.
And what was it? Yesterday?
Yes.
We were in Newport, Rhode Island, and one of the side pieces, what do you call this? Whatever. There's a little screw on the side if you wear glasses, and the screw just wasn't there. Whether it fell out, wasn't in right, who knows? But we ended up walking around Newport, and we found a sunglass store, and she went inside and asked the people if, you know, they could put a screw in because it, well, without, you know,
that your glasses, you can't really see much.
Exactly. So now we're on the way back to the
Lens
crafter store to say, hey, what happened? The screw fell out in a day. That's not right. So this morning, you saw that we went, a friend of mine, Steve, and I went to this coffee shop who's also a roaster in, I think that was Middletown, Rhode Island. And, you know, the guy was real nice, talked to us, and he uses drum roasters. We do air. We talked about shipping, you know, issues with coffee, this, that, and the other. And one of those things was shipping. Bob was telling me that, you know, he's got deals with certain companies and such like that. But that shipping and supply is going to be somewhat of an issue, and I don't really know how that's going to get played out, because, you know, if you put something out there as a coffee, as one of your mainstays, and then that particular supply, for whatever reason, runs out, then you got to come up with an alternative. And a lot of these really, you know, good coffees only have a limited supply. It's not, that's why, you know, this is never going to be a Starbucks or that kind of thing, because the coffees are a limited supply that you have. And like I said earlier, the guy buys all over South America and everything else, and he gets a container, 45,000 pounds of coffee. When, you know, if there's, say, 2,000 pounds of a certain one from Bolivia, and that's done, it's done. So it's a little bit tricky as to how we're going to do that, because I don't want to stockpile, you know, tons of coffee, because I don't know how it's going to go. And if I do that and then I don't sell it, you know, coffee will last roughly a year or so, I think, in the green bean form. But what are you going to do after that? If you've got all that coffee and for whatever reason, this one's selling a lot and you thought another one was going to sell a lot, now all of a sudden you've got, so I don't know. You know, there's a lot of aspects of the coffee business that I've still got to learn, and some of those I don't think you can learn until you actually are doing it in person, figuring out what the supply is going to be like, how it's going to be. And, you know, this particular trip to Rhode Island was an interesting one, because I went to that coffee shop, talked to a whole bunch of people down in Newport, Rhode Island, about coffee and the differences in it, and, you know, what we're planning on doing and how we're doing it and how to roast it. And they were all pretty, you know, enthusiastic about it. So I look at that, that's a plus side. And again, it's probably all going to be one-on-one retail type stuff, mail order, internet, and then a certain amount will be wholesale. But like the guy at the coffee shop told me, you know, the restaurants and those kind of things, that's a tough route, because they're trying to buy more at certain prices. But, you know, when you produce fresh coffee and you're, you know, a small producer of roasted coffee, which will be a very small producer in the world of coffee, you shouldn't, if you're trying to make a top quality product, you shouldn't try to go, oh, well, I've got to get so much. You got to concentrate on the quality aspect of it. Otherwise, you end up just being like anybody else who mass produces coffee, and it's not all that great. So it's going to be a work in progress. Okay, well, this afternoon, got back, had coffee, and we're going to Mackenzie's to pick strawberries. Not a whole ton of them, but some strawberries. When we grew... Yeah, string beans are already gone. I mean, there's a few string beans. This is the way we used to grow tomatoes too. If you look, it comes right up through, hangs up, and you get quite a good crop this way. Plus earlier.
Oh, more raspberries.
Yep, raspberries. Those aren't ready yet.
No.
Okay, here's the strawberries, and we just picked all of these. Now, these may look like Florida strawberries, but these strawberries are so sweet. They're like unbelievable. I think we'll be back for more. Definitely be back. Okay, see this field right up here. This is, I don't know if they lease it or whatever, but Mackenzie's uses this field, which is probably 4 or 5 miles from where their place is, to also grow stuff here. They haven't done as much. Oh, they got back there, they're doing stuff. Yeah. So, and they have bees over there. Well, that's just about it for today. We'll put all that stuff we got away. We still, I don't know if we'll do that tonight, but we're gonna pull out the little kids' pools, fill those tomorrow with water, so they're
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
No.
Aren't they coming Wednesday?
Yeah, they are.
Right. So don't you want it warm in the afternoon?
Oh, okay.
So, because otherwise the well water, if you just fill them right up, you can turn them into ice cubes.
Meaning the grandkids.
Yeah, the grandkids. They'd be little blue popsicles in no time. So we'll fill those up tomorrow, get that all done, and then 2 of them are coming Wednesday. One's coming Thursday? Yeah, one's coming Thursday. So, and then Friday, I think most of us are going to the beach with the younger ones. So that's always a blast.